Barry Somerville.
Top 100.
Barry Somerville.
Top 100. He's got a voice that's really the bomb. He'll make a choice that'll aggravate Tom. I hate to spoil it, but when all's said and done, Merchant of Venus gonna be number one.
Barry Somerville.
Top 100. Yeah.
And that's when we learned that Soylent Green wasn't people after all. It was just the soy and lentil combination the government had always told us it was. And we all had a wonderful meal. The end. Hi, welcome back. We're halfway through my top 100. It's time to start with number 50, move on to number 41. Lots of great games on the list. Let's do it.
Number 50, Star Trek Fleet Captains.
Big box. Number 50. Star Trek Fleet Captains. Now, I'm a big Trekkie. I enjoy the franchise, seen all the movies, grew up watching Star Trek, and this game captures the whole gamut of things that happen on that program. You've got the space battles, but you also have the exploration, the completing of missions, and helping out people in a completely non-combat oriented way. I love the ship models. I just love how every aspect of the franchise is captured in this, well, gigantic box. And I actually don't have the Romulan expansion for this. I should really seek it out. I haven't gotten a chance to play it as often as I'd like because it is a little bit of a daunting game, harder to get newer players into, and so it often comes out only at conventions or when I really have a weekend set aside to play it. But that doesn't change the fact that Star Trek Fleet Captains is a fantastic game, and my number 50.
Number 49, Quarriors.
Quarriors is my number 49. The original edition of this game came in a square tin that kind of looked like a Quarriors die, but new editions of this game come in this style of box. This is one of the expansion boxes. This is a dice rolling game, a dice pool building game, and look, I've sort of got it all messed up. I actually have this rubber banded to try and prevent this from happening, but this appears to have happened anyway. There's this nice dice tray that holds all the dice somewhat nicely. In this game, you are drafting dice into your bag, and then you are rolling them on subsequent turns to bring creatures out on the board, cast spells, generally do all the cool stuff that you would expect in a magic-based game. I like the simplicity of this one. I mean, yeah, it can get a little complicated when you add in the expansions, but it's easy for new players to say, oh, I just roll the dice and then I can do stuff? Yeah, great. And you attack your opponents, and it plays relatively quickly. I do really enjoy the chaos, controlled chaos, let's say, of Quarriors, my number 40.
Oh, I know this one. All right. Number 48, Forbidden Island.
Number 48 is a big family pick for me, and that is Forbidden Island. My son adores this game. For some time, he would wake up early and set up the tiles and have his own little adventures. Forbidden Island is a cooperative game from Matt Leacock. It is very similar to Pandemic, mechanically, but much more simplified for a younger children or family audience. But it is an amazing production from Game Right Games. Let me just open it. It's a tin, which, yeah, but okay. But it's got these terrific little figurines that are what you are trying to capture as you collect cards and move around the board. The island is sinking, and you are trying to get these 4 little treasures and get off the island before the island sinks, or it's impossible to claim. I mean, look at that fire. That's really cool. Terrific family hit, and very inexpensive. This is under $20, even if you're playing full retail. Forbidden Island, great game.
Number 47, Seasons.
47 is another unique dice rolling game. It's called Seasons. It is a card and dice game, actually. You've got a bunch of cards that you are trying to bring out onto the board in order to score points. But at the beginning of the game, you actually can't have any cards in front of you. You have to sort of raise your summoning ability to be able to bring out cards onto the table in your tableau. And these cards will do stuff, score points, attack opponents, allow you to change one type of energy into another type of energy, and you get these cards out, you increase your ability to do so through the rolling of dice. There are 4 seasons in every year. There are 3 years in the game, and each season you're rolling a different set of colored dice, one for each player, and you roll actually one more than each player. And you roll the dice, and the different symbols tell you what you can do. You can increase your summoning ability, you can get points just right off the bat, you can collect certain types of mana, and you can translate that mana into other types of mana, or you can sell that mana and earn points. Lots of crazy stuff that you can do, but as individual turns, it's not that complicated. Pick a die and then take an action. It's a really neat game, and one that I'm this close to adding to my collection. I have other friends that have it, which is why it's not on my shelf right now. But it's a really fun game, lots of possibilities, and lots of room to explore with all the cards that are in that deck. Seasons, my number 47.
Number 46, Sentinels of the Murniverse. Was that right?
No. You're going to notice a lot of cooperative games on my list. It's something that I appreciate. My wife enjoys them. I can certainly play them with my son. And Sentinels of the Multiverse just completely grabbed my interest the second I saw this at Gen Con a few years ago. It is a cooperative card game where you play superheroes and you're facing a supervillain. And each player chooses one of these superheroes that has their own unique deck that plays very differently. So when you are playing Legacy, for example, you need to play a certain way, whereas if you're playing a Bunker, the Iron Man style character, you may need to play very differently as far as your hand management, card drafting, tactics, all that stuff. And your environment can change, the villain can change, and that can completely change the idea and the course of the game. Sentinels was a very good game when it was first released. In this original edition, it has since gotten better with the enhanced edition. They've tweaked a couple of the mechanisms, increased the quality of the cards, and added tokens, which make it a lot easier to keep track of everything. And I'm, again, this close to pulling the trigger on that new edition, but still, Sentinels, great game, especially if you love superheroes, and especially if you love cooperative.
But number 45 is Ant.
Next up on the list is a game that many have said, a lot of fun in a tiny little box, or I guess with the expansion, 2 tiny little boxes. The publisher is the Realm of Fantasy, and the game is Ada Ants. In Ada Ants, you have a grid of cards, tiles, that make up your board space, and you have an anthill in the center, and you are trying to move your ants out to pick up leaves to bring back to the nest. If you are able to do that, you get another ant that allows you to sort of spread your network and carry those leaves around and move them more efficiently. And if you're able to get 6 ants out on the board, you win. Pretty simple. However, other players are trying to get to those pieces of leaf first, and there are spiders on the board that are drawn to the tiles with the most ants on them. So depending on turn order, you may be able to draw ants toward your opponents, blocking off their paths, maybe even eating them, and then they have to bring those ants back out onto the board, which can be really punishing in this game. For such a small package, very small production sort of game, there's a lot of think in this box. There were 2 expansions that added new mechanisms, tunnels, twigs, rocks, that sort of thing, and that's all good as well. Ada Ants, great game.
Number 44, Telestrations.
Number 44 on the list, and my highest ranked party game, although you might argue one that we'll talk about in just a second, is Telestrations. This is a production version of a game that Yeah, you could do with a pad of paper. Eat Poop You Cat is the name of the public domain version of this game. But in Telestrations, you are given a word or phrase, and you are supposed to draw a picture of it. Then you flip over the page in this spiral-bound dry erase board, hand it to the next person at the table, and then they have to guess what it is you drew, and they write down their guess. Then you pass those notebooks to the next player, and that player has to draw what the previous player guessed. Makes sense? You continue this until you get all the way around the table, and it's best to play this with the maximum, if at all possible. This is an 8-player version of the game. There is actually a 12-player version of the game. And then there's a scoring, but you really don't need to worry about it. You flip through the books and see how the word or phrase has been completely corrupted by the game of telephone that you are playing with these boards. It is hilarious. And that is what, I mean, I have never played a game of this that people were not rolling on the floor. Okay, maybe not rolling on the floor, but having trouble breathing due to laughing. Telestrations, fantastic party game. If you don't own it,
Number 43, Guildhall.
one of the newer selections on my list at number 43 is Guildhall. This is actually Guildhall Job Fair, which is a standalone expansion for the game. I was tremendously impressed with this game when I first played it. From the second I played it, you are trying to earn a certain number of points. It's a race to a specific point total. I believe it is 20 points. You get those points by claiming point cards that are in the center, and in order to claim those point cards, you need to complete sets of cards. So you've got 5 different colors in the game, and there are different roles on each of the cards. So you may have the assassin, and you need to collect all 5 colors of the assassin to make that a complete set, a complete guild. You flip it over, you can then spend those to claim the cards in the center of the table. And the cards are worth varying points, but have special abilities associated with the cards that are worth fewer points. Now, the mechanism of how you achieve those sets is really neat. Each of these roles has an ability, and the more cards you play into that set, the stronger that ability becomes. But you can only play a color that isn't there yet. So if you want to get the super deluxe version of some of these abilities, you need to be very judicious with the colors that you're playing. You need to get very lucky in order to get the color that you don't already have by trading and taking cards from other players. And all of these roles fit together, especially when you start adding the expansion in, and you've got all sorts of combinations of interaction with the other players as you race to complete these sets, protect them from being messed with, then spend them to get the point cards you're looking for, racing to 20 points. Guildhall is a really neat game. I like it a lot, and it's my favorite.
Number 42, Entdecker.
I enjoy exploration in games, and my number 42, Entdecker, has that in spades. This, in fact, used to be my number 1 game, which is kind of interesting. In Entdecker, you got a giant board that starts out mostly empty. You get a couple of islands that you seed on this grid, and you are sailing from different corners of the board, different sides of the board, to draw tiles and create this map, this set of islands, island chain. Although you don't know what exactly you're going to get when you draw these tiles. So you spend money to get these tiles, and you have to pay up front. I'll draw 3 tiles. I'll pay $3, draw 3 tiles, see what we get. And you may find an island, you may find empty water, you may find a storm or pirates, or get a huge bonus, depending on which tiles you draw. So there's that risk. How much do I want to risk, and will I survive what I find? And then you pay to place figurines, little tokens, on those islands, because it's an area majority game, and whoever has the best position on an island when it's completed will get the most points. And then second place gets half of that, and third place gets half of that, all the way down to fourth place if all 4 players are on it. And then there's a whole area majority thing on the side with some tiki huts that can get you extra bonus points. I love the unknown in this game. Maybe I get lucky and I find some really high-profile tiles, and maybe I don't. And you can sort of see that desire in some other games I like later on the list. So I highly recommend Entdecker if you've not played it. It's an older title, but certainly one well worth a look, from Klaus Teuber. You've heard his name before, Entdecker.
Number 41. Zendo.
Let's round out this set with the other game that could be considered a party game if you're having a very cerebral party. I guess it's a party game in the same way that Dixit could be a party game. It's Zendo, which is a game played with these little ice house pyramids, which actually aren't called ice house pyramids anymore. They're called Looney pyramids. But this was sold in a set called Ice House. There are these little plastic pyramids in 3 different sizes. They stack, they can be arranged in various ways, and you can learn about the rules to Zendo in a book called Playing with Pyramids, also available from Looney Labs. In Zendo, you are creating, one player is the master, and they create some sort of rule. And arrangements of these pyramids follow that rule, or they don't follow that rule. Maybe it's the number of pips on the pyramids, and each pyramid has a certain number of pips based on its size. The number of pips has to be even. And then you set up one set of pyramids that follows the rule, and one set of pyramids that doesn't follow the rule. Then the other players are students, and they are trying to guess what the rule is. And at first you can pick up a bunch of pyramids and set them up and ask, does this follow the rule or not? And the master will tell you. You can also try and guess. You can earn guessing stones to try and guess what the rule is. And instead of just saying yes or no, the master, if the rule is incorrect, you then have to create an arrangement that follows the rule that you guessed, but doesn't follow the rule that I want you to guess. Again, very thinky game, but I love that logic puzzle of Zendo. My number 41. Alright, there we go. Hope you enjoyed it. The games just get better from here on out. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching The Dice Tower. Alright, Childhood's End 2. Take 1.
Thanks so much for watching one of the Dice Tower's Top 100 Games list. Tune back next time for 10 more of Eric's games. Until next time, I'm Tom Bassel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc. Cool stuff in stock.
Top 100.